Oh, hey, it's that time of year that we all do our like checkups and things. So that's kind of going to be the theme this week. We're going to be checking up on the real estate market here in Des Moines and central Iowa. Hey there, welcome to the show. It's Monday, March 28th. We're almost through the first quarter of 2022. Next week, we'll be talking about month-end stats as well as maybe some first quarter stats. So my name's Les Solgrove. This is Simply Des Moines Stats Market Update. All the news that is news about the Des Moines and Central Iowa real estate market, and it's all available to you online and offline at DesMoinesMarketValues.com. I hope you'll take some time and peruse what I've got saved this last several weeks here. We've got all the graphics from previous week's shows as well as each week's video is all in that same place at DesMoinesMarketValues.com. So, hey, welcome to the show. Let's get started. Week 12 has shown to be kind of an interesting week. This past week, we finally saw a slight rise in inventory. We were at 1,667 homes on the market last week at this time. And as of last Sunday, as of yesterday, we're at 1,705. So remember, my market weeks go from Monday is the first day of the week through Sunday is the last day of the week. And we're still just barely into an even market in the new construction portion, but the balance of the market is deep into a seller's market. And that's what you can tell by these yellow bars here, but also down here at the bottom, we've got months of inventory. So we're at 1.2 months of inventory overall, and just over about 2 to 2.5 weeks of inventory for the single family homes and condo townhomes. Also, our days on market are starting to plummet. We're starting to see full-blown spring market activity here. Last week, we were at 10 days on market overall. This week, we're at 7 days. Existing homes went from 5 days down to 4 days. Existing condo townhomes also dropped just a little bit. However, they ended the week back at 4, which was exactly where they were last week. So we can expect to go lower yet. We're not done dropping. I would suspect that we'll see numbers where we were last year about this. Actually, we hit numbers in late April, early May, around 2 days on market, and we're already dropping. So I would venture to guess that we're probably going to see numbers down around that 2 days on market here. So anyway. So like I said before, this is kind of the week where we're going to do a market check update here. And we're going to kind of just take a look at week over week what's happening in some of the different segments of the market. And we're going to start off here first with the total number of homes for sale. This is a similar graphic to what you've seen already, but it's given me a little bit of hope here, because if you notice here, we started off the year almost 150, just almost 200 listings lower than we were at the same time in January. And as the year progressed, that gap continued all the way till the middle of February, when things kind of started to pick back up with listings, and maybe sales just slowed down just a tick. I know it's hard to say that sales are slow when we're talking about 2 weeks on the market and things like that, but what you'll notice here is that we're starting to see that maybe we have bottomed out. I hope we've bottomed out with our listing inventory. We always tend to see around Easter weekend, we tend to see our listings drop a little bit. So Easter's coming up here soon, and maybe we'll see another dip like that. But we kind of plodded along here, April, May, June, with a little dip in June until July, when the inventory really started to pick back up again for the year. And that's kind of what we are going to expect to have happen again this year. So to look at that on a weekly basis here, so that the other graphic there was year-to-date total listings. This now, the rest of these graphics are going to show you weekly bars in the graphics charts here. So we actually 5 weeks out of the first 12 actually brought on more new listings during each of those weeks than we did in previously in 2021. And that's a good sign there. And hopefully we'll kind of see this trend continue. Um, Sale pendings, on the other hand, uh, ever since about the last week of February, we have been at a pace just a little bit slower than 2021. So you can see we're trending pretty close, except for last week. We had a pretty lower week there, but we're trending just a little bit closer to 2021, but still not quite hitting that number. So the number of homes going under contract has just slowed down just a tick in the month of March. Weekly closed sales. This is the one that is baffling everybody. I got a phone call this week from Heather Wright, a Remax agent, and she and I talk occasionally. And I told her, I said, I like talking to you because you speak my language. And we talked a little bit about what's going on in the real estate market. How can the market, be so low with inventory, but still be ahead year to date in sales? And it's just, I told her, I said, I think it's just the speed of our sales. They're just, inventory is not building right now because it's selling so fast. Even though maybe in the month of March it didn't sell quite as fast as last year, but it sure doesn't. I don't think anybody on the streets are feeling that. So this is the trend we're going to kind of see as we go forward here. Our big closing months are going to be June and July, and that's all from business done in April and May. And then we'll see probably another little blip of business in the fall around September is when we have all of our last big push sales, and then they all close in October. So we're going to kind of see that same trend, I believe, as we move forward through the end of the year. The open house traffic, this one's really pretty much just driven by the lack of inventory. I mean, I think we would have more open houses if we had more homes to sell and if they weren't selling in a matter of hours or days. So we're just kind of trailing pretty close to last year. Whenever you see a dip like this one right here, this would have been Easter weekend last year. This would have been 4th of July weekend. So whenever you see these big drops, that's usually around a holiday. Price increases. This graphic per week is primarily driven by new construction. And it's pretty common. And if you look at the black line, you'll see, that we started off the year last year in January. We had a pretty good peak there, a spike there, and then another spike in February, and then a little bit lower spike in March, and a pretty good spike in April and May. These are monthly evaluations by the new construction industry saying, pricing is, where's our pricing at based on supply and cost. And so as they bring on new inventory to the marketplace, sometimes they will take that opportunity to basically raise prices. And you can see in January, we had a major month there where we had, or major week where we had a lot of price increases during that week, almost close to 275, I believe, that week. And, a normal week without a lot of that new construction updating is usually under 50. So, again, this one is not really driven so much by what we're seeing in a lot of the part of the market. It's more driven by, what the new construction's doing there. Price reductions, on the other hand, this is going to be one of the graphics we'll kind of start to watch closely when this market does change. And believe me, it is going to change. It's just a matter of time, because we're about 12 years into a 10-year cycle, where we go up and then peak and then go down and then we bottom out. We're still just right at the peak, I believe. But as soon as this market starts to end its peak run and we do start to see this natural 10-year cycle, whether it be 10 or 12 or 13 years, this is one of the areas we're going to start to see. We'll start to see price reductions come in because sellers are no longer maybe selling at such a fast pace, or maybe they're not able to get the high prices that they've gotten. And that's going to be something that home sellers are really going to have to grasp. There'll be a lot of them that will be in denial for a long time, and that'll be then our realtor's job out here to kind of coax them through that. Back on markets, again, we talk about this number occasionally, and what the back on market number means. Back on market means that a sale has an offer's been accepted and then the sale has fallen through. And in our industry, 15% is kind of the norm. And you can see here that in kind of the peach colored or the light red, we've been predominantly under 15% about half the time, maybe 2/3 of the time. January is always a spike month. I don't know why that is, but January always seems to have business over the holidays tends to, I don't know, things just fall apart or whatever. But so we always tend to see this large spike here. But you can see that we're not really going much above last year. Only a couple times, the 1st of February, and then last week and a week ago we had, I think it was about a 17% back on market rate. But for the most part, we're staying under that 15%. What does that mean? It means, if 15%, out of 100 homes that went under contract during a week, 15 would have fallen apart and come back on the market. So if you're a home buyer out there kind of watching the market, be sure and have your realtor help you watch the back on market properties, because if a sale falls through, you might not have gotten it the first time, and this might be your opportunity to get it the next time. So anyway, next week's show is going to be all about the month of March, as well as end of quarter. Plus, it's going to be kind of an interesting week for me. I'm going to actually be out of town over the weekend, and I will be setting up my broadcasting equipment out of state. It'll be a location. I hope that I can come up with a cool set for you and maybe go, with a little bit more of me on camera to kind of show what's going on where I'm at. It'll be on the East Coast, and I hope that it'll be a fun one for you guys to watch, and I encourage you to do that. So with that said, again, please take a moment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Be sure and hit the like button as well. That makes a huge difference in my YouTube world, and like it's all my world. And be sure and also head over to DesMoinesMarketValues.com. Again, that's the great place to go for all the graphics each week, as well as each week's videos. So thank you again for joining me, and we'll see you all again next week from the East Coast. So talk to you soon. Have a great week.